prayer and the thought. All right, let's do it.
Okay, we're good.
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful to be together to work towards our goals in this class. We're grateful that Thou hast provided us an education and an opportunity for it. Father, we ask for Thy Spirit to be with us, that we will be able to communicate and expand our knowledge and understanding as we work through this case together. We say and ask these things humbly, Father, in the name of Thy Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. All right, so I'm reading in Exodus right now. And so I was thinking about how, Moses has taken Israel out of Egypt. And there's just been, the miracle after miracle after miracle, right? So he goes up onto the mount, he's there 40 days, 40 nights, and he comes back down and everything has gotten crazy. And I kind of have to stop and wonder, how often is that for us? I mean, we have miracle after miracle after miracle. And, when we read it, we look at them and think, oh, you foolish people. You whine about not having food and it's literally raining manna, but yet when we look at our own lives, how easy is it for us to take for granted the blessings where we become entitled or we just expect it and lose some of our gratitude for it. And so I've found that when we are grateful, what we have is really enough. And I say that in the name of Jesus Christ, amen. All right, I am going to share. Let's go, here we go. Okay, so let me go back in real quick and verify what our instructions. So our instructions today is just to simply share what our answers were to the questions. And then if there were any discrepancies, we would figure it out. And if we all got the same answers, we discuss the process we took to get those answers. So this is what mine looks like. So I would say let's just take a minute and compare them and see who got different numbers.
Okay.
I can scroll down. So on number 1, it says create, which is right here, create a capitalization table, right? And then it shows the number of shares, the price per share, the total investment, which is right here, and the ownership. Yeah? Did everyone get that?
Yep. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. So then we go to 1B and we do it for with the angel investor. And so these are the numbers I got. Is that right? 50%?
Which one?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So for 1B, did everyone get these numbers? 50% and 50%?
Which one are we on?
1B.
1B and
yeah.
You got 50 and 50. That's what I got.
Okay, great. Because then what we've got is at 50 cents, right? What'd you come up with, Danny?
For which one? 1B?
Yeah.
How many shares? I had 100 shares.
So right now they've got us going.
And then I had 2% and then 98%.
Right. Well, so because she's invested $50,000, the angel investor's got 50,000. Is that right? Yep. And it's only 50 cents per share.
I didn't. Okay, so I just used like the 50,000 and the 1,000, and then I divided. So her initial investment 1,000.
Right.
By the 51,000, and that gave me 2%.
So that
was her stake in the company.
That would be a little bit different based on the price of shares. So what we have to do is we have to take that $50,000 and divide it by the price of shares, which was 50 cents, which they gave us in the writing, which gives us 100,000 shares. So if we take this number here, we just take how many shares they've got based on how many available shares, and that's how we determine what the actual percentage is.
Yeah.
So the number
I just did a easy. So it was an easy, like, so I didn't complicate it. It was a pre-post money evaluation. So I didn't really try to complicate it too much. I'd already learned about that prior. And so I just took what I knew and applied it. And I'm not sure if I did it right or not. So
yeah,
that's
so
where I'm confused.
It wasn't a question about complicating it. It was about doing the right equation. And the one that you did was a little bit different because we've got a 1 cent per price per share versus 50 cents. So there's a huge discrepancy there, which is why you can't use those numbers.
The price per share doesn't matter. It's the number of shares that you get. Depends your ownership on it.
Right. Which is
because like right now I can go buy a share of Apple for over $1,000. And if I'm spending $1,000, but when they originally started Apple and you could buy shares at $10 a share, that doesn't give me more ownership than someone who bought 4 shares at $10 a share.
Okay,
so like have 1 share and he has 4. So the shares are what matter, not the amount of money you spend.
So how does it go? A company has so say they have $10 million pre-money evaluation. You own 100% right now. A VC puts in an additional $5 million. So the post-money valuation of the company is $15 million. You now own a total of 66.7% post-money of the new company. Investor owns 33.3%. So that's what I took into account. I didn't even use the cost per share.
Well, but the problem is that you have to use the cost per share to determine how many shares. That was the key.
I'll have to go back and look through that then, because. So if I want to fix my worksheet right now, then, okay, so I have, in the number of shares, I have 50,000, and then in the cost per share, I have 1,000, and in the total cost of investment, I have 50,000. So what am I doing wrong?
Okay, so you see how I got it here? We got it out in 2 different lines, right?
I got a what?
We've got it in 2 different lines. So the 1,000 invested is what Taylor did.
Where are you? Can you highlight which one you're talking about right now?
Right here. Can you see that?
Okay, just highlight that whole box, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Okay, so what's the top one? The top one is Lexi, right? The founder.
Right. So she's our founder. Okay. She invested $1,000. I
have that 1,000, and she gave herself 1,000 shares, 100,000 shares. So right. That would mean that her $1,000 divided by the 100,000 shares would mean that the shares costed a penny per
Correct.
share, right? Okay, I got that up to there. And then what?
So now you bring in the angel investor who invested $50,000.
Right.
But you don't know how many shares yet. You have to go in and figure out.
The cost is $1. Right.
No, the cost is 50 cents.
Oh, this one's 50 cents. Okay, so yeah, he gets 100,000 shares, and there's a total of 200,000.
Well, he's got $50,000 at 50 cents, which then brings us in.
Can I ask you this? Okay, then, so since there's 100,000 shares total, when the angel gets his 100,000, are we gonna issue another 100,000 on top of the 100,000 we already have, or are we gonna give him our 100,000?
No, we're going to issue more shares.
Issue more.
When we go into the VC, we're going to actually issue more. And where we end up is right here. This is where we end up with 242,000 is where we actually will end up, because right now these questions are just scenarios.
Okay.
So these numbers, which is why it's important to put it in with calculations, because then you can just copy paste and change them.
Okay. So back to what we were talking about.
I lost you.
Did we lose him? We lost him.
Is he gone?
Yeah, we lost him. I think he'll probably come back.
Okay. All right, well, let's move on. So this is what you got for 1B, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to number 2. Is this what you got? 80 and 20%?
Yes.
Lovely. Number 3, this is the ownership breakdown. Is this what you got?
I think I did this one wrong, and I just was noticing it because it says it needs an additional $300,000, and I didn't I didn't add it into 350,000. I did it at 300,000. I didn't add the angel on top of the seed round, so I need to fix my numbers on that. I'm doing it right now.
Yeah, I'll wait for you.
Danny's back.
Oh, hey, Danny, we're on number 3 right now. Real quick, Ammon. Yeah, so you're going to do it right now, so I'll make sure my number's right.
Yeah.
We're on number 3 right now. So at this point, Danny, we're now adding in Potato Rock Partners.
Okay, so when I did mine, I just did one, and then I just started plugging in numbers, so I don't have it saved like you guys. So that's why I'm asking you like what you did, because you know what I mean? Okay, yeah. Thanks. Makes sense.
No, I understand. So let's go ahead and plug in these numbers and see if it comes up with what you get.
For 3?
Number 3, yeah. So on number 3, they agreed to $1 per share, which is right there.
That means everybody took $1 per share, right?
No, that was just between her and the angel.
Okay, so the angel, so her cost per share is not going to change. It's going to stay at a penny, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So right now, the whole purpose of this assignment is that Taylor's trying to decide how she's going to manage the angel investor funding.
I was thrown off by the shares. I wasn't sure if like more were being issued or if we were deducting them from her initial 100,000.
Well, yeah, so it doesn't really impact the shares as much as it impacts the ownership percentage, and that's where voting comes in. And of course, in looking at this, she's giving up, at the end of the day, she's giving up, nearly 50% of her company, which I'm just horrified by.
Yeah.
Doing that.
What happened to Potato Rock in this third scenario?
Okay, so in the third scenario, it says she raises $300,000 at $2.50 per share.
I had 0.3%, so I probably did something wrong.
0.3%.
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't taking into the
the
cost per share.
What you first have to do is you first have to calculate what the shares are, because they don't. The only time they gave us a share number was up here with Lexi.
Right. So I did that, and.
Ammon, how are your numbers looking?
So I have a question on number 3. Just looking at the way it's written. It says assuming Lexi and the angel agreed on $1 per share in the seed round, what share of the company would she own after Series A, assuming she raises $300,000 at $2.50 per share? So is that taking? My question on that is the way it's reading. I'm not sure if that's after the angel already spent $50,000, and then it's coming back into the second one, right?
Right. So what she's doing is she's just speculating. She hasn't raised it yet.
Right. So is out of the 300,000 that she's raising there in Series A, is the angel only spending $50,000, and is that the original $50,000 that the angel's spending? That's where I got tripped up on it, because I put it in that she's raising it's not that she's raising an additional $300,000 in number 3. It's that she's raising $300,000 for the first time, and the angel's only putting in $50,000.
Okay, so when we go back to the first page under financing the venture, she's identifying in the third paragraph. It says Leslie expected to have to raise an additional $300,000.
Right.
So that's why I put it in. So we're looking at a total right here. a total of 351,000.
Okay.
So are you feeling like that could be the answer, or are you still thinking that maybe we need to put that down to 250?
I'm not sure. Let me read through everything again real quick. Sorry.
No, not at all.
What were all your numbers then? Going back to the number 3 on the Angel, what did he have? Because I'm just gonna read you what I have. I have 14.2, and then on the VC, the Potato Rock, I have 85.5. That's just solely with what they put in, like, money wise, because she only put in $1,000 initially, and then the Angel only put in $50,000, and then the VC put in $300,000. So
it's not about the money.
It's not about the money. So it's about the share.
It's about the share. The only reason the money matters here is because it determines how many shares.
But wouldn't that mean that if you put more money in, that you're going to get a greater percentage back?
No,
because
it only depends on what you buy the share for.
So even though you got more, like when the shares are 50 cents, she gets way more shares, right? She gets, or the Angel gets 100,000. Okay.
Right. So look over here, right here. Let me show you this right here. Do you see how on right here on this, she spends $2 and gets 25,000. But here, she spends $2.25 and still ends up with less shares.
So what are you telling me? Which one? What should she? Because I mean, that's not mine. I haven't read your chart, so I don't know what you're telling me.
So what essentially I'm saying to you is that in number 3, it tells us that they agree to pay $1, which is right here, right?
And that's essentially telling me what now? What should I be grasping from that $1?
She's invested $50,000 at $1. That gives you how many shares she gets for that money. Okay, so realize down here at Potato Rock, they're paying $250 based on 300,000 investment, which means they end up with 120,000. Is that making it all? You have to figure out what.
How are you getting the ownership then? What is your equation? Can you like click the cell so that way I can see it?
That's it right there. I'm taking how many shares Taylor has based on how many shares he exists. And that's how we come up with the ownership number. And everyone does it. They all base it off that same number.
Okay, well then my math is probably wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't get those numbers.
Don't worry, my math's wrong too. Kristen, I believe you were right that it is an additional 300,000.
All right, I'm wondering, I may just note that on my case study. So in my case study, here's what I did for my submission.
So this isn't the submission. We still have to write it up.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't get that from the directions.
But it's an easy write-up. I mean, for mine, essentially, I did my original. I did a comparison here, but then I of course included everything we just did. I think I might start doing that. I mean, I'm doing well on my grades. I'm getting perfect scores, but because I'm not always sure what he wants, I feel like maybe we should start. I'm going to start putting in my calculations from our group, so to better convince him I understand what we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you there.
So it'd probably be impossible to get like 100% in this class since we're not already, we don't have the bachelor degree, and we're not at Harvard.
You could get 100% in the class. It'd be incredible. It'd be very difficult, but you could do it
at the 400 level. Yeah.
I mean, there's no such thing as a class that's too hard to get 100% on, but that means you typically have to do more.
I'd like to see an A at least. I mean, because my submissions have been rather good, but I think the memo might have thrown me off on that one, but it's fine.
On the last one, yeah, the memo thing.
Yeah, like I did it. It was just, I thought back, it was just like really disorganized, the way they want you to break it up in sections. But I understand it now. It's just when I was doing it.
Okay, so back to number 3. Tell me what, are we ready to move on? Does everyone feel good about those numbers?
Yeah.
So I've got to figure mine out. So we don't know how many shares the angel then purchases in the seed round, do we?
Well, see, and that's just it. She's trying to, the purpose of this is to determine, see, the angel wants to purchase it for 50 cents a share.
Right.
Taylor's like, I think it's not worth that. And then the case study says to put it at $2 per share.
Right.
So then when we go through these questions, we're plugging in different numbers as if we were Taylor trying to make a decision.
Right.
Okay, so there is no specific number. We're trying to determine what the number should be.
Right. My question though is then if that makes it difficult on number 3 to figure out exactly what percentage of the ownership it is if you don't know how many shares Potato Rock and Angel are buying, because Angel is already going to have 50,000 shares before the seed round. And so I'm just trying to figure out where that's going to lie.
I see what you're saying. No. So when we talk about the seed round, when we put $2, so we put in 50 cents, she'd have 100,000. The angel would have 100,000. Then they have us redo it at $2 and showing that she'd only get 25,000. So
Right.
now that's putting it in at 1,000 or at $1, and she ends up with 50,000. So each one kind of stands on its own, and all we're doing is we figure out how many shares based on taking the amount they invested and how much each share is worth, and that ultimately gives us how many they get. So do you see the difference? There's 100,000 here, 25, 50.
Right.
That's still not making sense?
I think I figured it out actually now.
Yeah, you can figure out based on these numbers here and these numbers here how much she gets of everything. Actually, on this one here, you knew this too, and that's how you ended up with that. But you have to reverse engineer these numbers based on the information given to get the shares.
Right. Okay, I think we can move on. I've got it now.
All right, hang on a second. I gotta make a correction here. There it is. Sorry, I don't need those stuff. Okay. All right, number 4. Create a capitalization table for Lexi's venture after raising her Series A funding using the following assumptions. Okay. So Lexi chooses $50,000 convertible debt of equity for the Grand Angel round. So she's going to go convertible on this. Okay. It's 0% interest. And then she's also doing the 300,000, excuse me, the 300,000 right here at $2.50. The debt will be a 10% discount, meaning that she'll get 10% of whatever Potato Rock pays. So because Potato Rock is paying $2.50, 10% off of that brings it down to $2.25. Right?
Right.
All right. So then we're just plug in those numbers again, just like we did before.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's numbers.
What were your numbers on that?
All right. So for right here, I took the 100,000. So I got ownership of 41.28, 9.2, and 49.5.
I'm gonna be pretty close to that once I rework the numbers for the additional stuff that's in there.
So divide by, that's right. Okay, so then this number here is that, okay.
Hey, Christine.
Yeah.
So throughout all of your tables,
Yeah.
Lexi had $1,000 invested, 100,000 shares, and the cost per share was 1 penny, right?
Yeah,
So
that
that
never,
when I work it through again, I'll have it.
yeah. So the only thing that changes in any of this is the potato, or is the angel investor.
Whatever they tell us differs. Okay.
Because Potato Rock is set, and the founder is set. The only thing that it's just, these are all just different scenarios.
Okay. Yeah, I understood that, but I don't know why I got the numbers I got. I'll have to do it again.
Yeah, this is the finished product, Danny. I've actually worked on it for 2 hours.
Okay.
A lot of odd numbers. In fact, you know, you get to a point where you just start
Take
doing
the grid lines off and put a color on the background. Make it look better.
Take the
on your Excel sheet before you submit it.
Yeah.
Do the colors over it.
Yeah, I got the same numbers as you, Kristen.
Beautiful. All right. I actually like the lines. Okay, so you got the same numbers there. All right, so let's go to number 5. So how does the convertible debt affect Lexi's ownership share of her firm? And how is the angel share affected and the venture capital firm? So if we take a look
Doesn't the convertible debt, okay, from what I understood, all right, I said the 50,000 convertible debt gave the angel the advantage of buying shares at 25 cents per share, giving them 200,000 total shares in the company, which gave them a 14.2% stake in the company. But I guess my numbers are wrong.
right,
Yeah.
because your numbers are a little bit off. They actually get almost 50% less stock. So when we look at this number here, if they put it in $1, and I'm going off of this because they don't really tell us what the actual number is. But if we go off $1, she's at 18%. The angel is at 18%. But if we go off of the convertible, then it's only 9.2%, and Taylor ends up with more.
It's Bishop.
Hello.
Nice.
So
Okay.
Lexi would have more stock, the angel investor would have less stock, and the VC would also, and actually, they wouldn't actually have more stock. Let's see, what is this here?
Yeah. Always.
Equity stake or something.
It would have more ownership.
Yeah, if they do the convertible debt, she gains more. It's tough. I mean,
Okay.
the angel gets
Have him call you back when he's done.
considerably less equity in convertible debt. But as far as ownership of the company, the founder and the Potato Rocket stays pretty close as far as percentage-wise.
It does. It's minimal.
I mean,
So it doesn't matter. Would they stay with the same percentage if they invested $50,000 at the same share or cost per share? If they did the convertible, would it be the same percentage?
say that again.
Would the percentage ownership percentage be the same if it were convertible or not?
No, it's different.
It's the same. It's different.
Yeah, if you do the convertible one,
You get the
the
discount
founder's
on the
percentage
shares.
goes up by like 4.3%, and the Potato Rocks ownership goes up by about 5%, and the Angels percentage goes down by 50%.
Oh wow.
So it's actually pretty considerable. It really hurts the Angel to do the convertible debt.
Okay.
But so he's helping out. Okay.
Is that what
But
you?
the angel also, is the first paid, and I mean, so there are some advantages to it. But ultimately, I would have to say that by doing the convertible, not only does Lexi get more, but she also issues less stock. She has more ownership and issues less stock.
Yeah.
You see the right here? She's got 270,000 right here versus the 242. How does that? Wait. Yeah. Okay. You guys want to summary this? Put the summarization together?
Yeah, I think we're ready.
Yeah.
All right. Does anyone want to do it, or you want me to? All right, here it is. Okay, so in reviewing Homeplate, we have determined that based on question 3 and 4, a comparison between the two of them, we have determined that it's best for Lexi to do a convertible debt method, mostly because it provides her with more ownership from 37% to 41, just over 41%. And while it definitely drops what the investor percentage has, it does increase the venture capitalist. But not only does she have more ownership in her company, she also issues less stock. So for this reason, we think it would be best for Lexi to do the convertible debt.
Agreed.
All right. Excellent. That's it. Let's shut it down.
All right.